Hey guys, it's Mitch. We're back. We're checking out some more of 1996's Hitman by Garth Ennis and John McCrae. The continuing adventures of superpowered assassin Tommy Monaghan. So just before we get into it, if you enjoy the channel, if you feel like you might want to chip in a little bit, what you can do is in the description, there's a link to my Patreon. And if you subscribe there, that gives you access to everything I do, from the Blood Force stuff to the YouTube stuff before it goes out to YouTube, as well as some exclusives. And you can follow me on Instagram. So, last issue, Hitman number 1, a fair bit happened. We got introduced to Tommy Monaghan's world, which is a pretty grimy world, full of mob thugs and corrupt cops. And we got introduced to a cast of killers, otherwise known as Tommy's best friends. And one of the best things about being a hitman in Gotham City, there's always work. And Tommy managed to land the equivalent of the big account for hitmen. He's been offered $1 million to whack the Joker. And while he has no compunctions about it morally, and moral compunctions are a problem for Tommy sometimes, it does put him square in the sights of characters like Batman and the GCPD. Not to mention the Doubles gang, who are still out to take him down for his perceived role in the death of the Doubles patriarch. So let's get into it here. Not really much we have to say about the cover. This is a bit more of an efficient cover, really. It does kind of highlight John McCrae's style, which is more on the cartoony side of things. But yeah, this is mostly about the contract on the Joker's life. All right, I have no idea who Tachyon is. I know what a Tachyon is. Didn't realize it was a character. So we're here for A Rage in Arkham, Part 2. So at the end of the last issue, Tommy was surrounded by the Gotham City Police Department. And since Tommy doesn't shoot cops, that means he's going to have to get arrested. And of course, the cop who's putting him in the back of the squad car is going to pull every cop's favorite joke, smacking his head off the top of the roof. Oh. Decent enough opening splash. Nice, just the right amount of detail for a kind of cartoony comedy book. And now we're going to introduce Detective Teagle, and Teagle is going to be a recurring character in the Hitman story. And Batman confronts Teagle, warns her to not release this to the press just yet. Because if the press finds out about the contract on the Joker's life, then Batman may never find out who arranged the hit. But if he thinks things are proceeding as planned, he may still be able to uncover the mystery. So, just a quick expository page. We'll flip back to Tommy now in the back of the squad car. And Tommy's looking for a way out of the arrest here. And one of the things that Tommy has on his side is he has this new telepathy power. So he goes rooting around in these cops' heads and finds out that Andy here had a thing going with Buck's wife. Describes Buck's wife to him just so he knows he's not lying. Tells him where they met. Apparently it was at Buck's birthday party. Asked her what they were doing upstairs, and she said she was showing Andy the new bedroom set. So Buck tells Andy to get out of the car, and they're going to settle it right here. Pulls Andy out of the car, tells him to confess, and he does, and gets smacked right across the jaw. Nice silhouette shot. Simple but effective, which takes Andy right out of the game here. Again, decent shot. It's a little hard to tell what's going on with all the black. But yeah, he knocked Andy right onto the hood of the car here. But yeah, decent perspective. And Buck's showing a little bit of remorse here now that Andy may be comatose. So Tommy gives him that little jab to divert his attention, which sets Buck off, gets him right up against the door of the car so Tommy can kick it open right into his face here. I like the little effects here with the glass. This is nice and effective. So he's got all his glass in his face, just starts shooting at random. So yeah, that's Buck. That's Buck won't come back. That's all we need to see of him. But Tommy did manage to escape the cops. That's all that's important. And Mauser, the avatar of the Arcanon, who are the Lords of the Gun. So the Lords of Murder by Gunfire. Kind of gets why they like him. Thinks this isn't a deal where you're replacing me, are you? They reassure him, no, you're our boy. You got a plan to pull him over to the dark side, right? Yeah, I think I do. Okay, well then, enjoy the rest of your night. And the rest of his night has to do, he's just got this big ol' Superman cape, which opens wide, and just all the gunfire in the world here. And that's That's how the Mauser has a good time. Again, nothing super special in the art. But, get a little bit of blood in there. And again, John McCrae kind of shows that he knows what he's doing with the figure work. That's always nice. So, Tommy shows up at Pat's doorstep, because where else is he going to go? So, Tommy exhorts him to get out the wire cutters and he'll tell him his sorry tale. And we see Pat doesn't exactly class it up too much with his apartment here. This is kind of the living quarters of everybody in this particular world, short of people like Sean and Ringo, who are the slightly classier hitmen. So Tommy fills Pat in on what's been going on. Yeah, no, ran into Batman and everything, eh? Oh, Batman, that's tough. Because this is just a world where, if you break the law often enough, and, Tommy's a hitman, you're probably just going to get beat up by Batman sometimes. And Tommy brings up, Bat's being involved, and me being a person of interest to him, just gives me one more reason to leave town after this Arkham hit. And, which makes Pat sad. Because they've been buds forever. They've been buds since they were kids. So Tommy goes, hey, why don't you come with me then? I'll have $1 million. We'll set ourselves up in a nice Manhattan apartment, and we'll let that place run to shit, undoubtedly. It's the classic pie in the sky thing. Yeah, no, once I make my big money, then we'll be set for life. And that's kind of Tommy's deal, right? Like I said before, he's not into saving. He's hoping for that one big hit to come along to give him enough money that he can just bankroll it and live off that shit and not have to kill people anymore. He probably would kill a few more people. But anyway, while Tommy was out with Wendy and then, with Batman and the cops, turns out the word has gotten out that Tommy's going to be going into Arkham. And apparently business is pretty good. So Rick Capullo, who I'm not sure if that's any kind of thing at Greg. Probably not at this point. Could you shoot his dad, who's in a padded cell for the cannibalism thing? $5,000. Men's Room Louie wondered if you could do Pickaxe McCoy, $3.5. Liam Dawson wants the Mad Hatter kneecapped. Message with that one. Vatican called Father Daly for $10,000, but they'll negotiate. And the Meat Man's mom says send him to hell, $5,000. And apparently, there's another 4 jobs there. Yeah, just, this is the kind of thing that should probably happen at Arkham just every year, like spring cleaning. Hire a hitman, weed out the worst, and Tommy just thinks of this as beer and pizza money. I mean, just the jobs he's talking about, I think it adds up to like $25,000, so that's not too bad. So now we're going to cut to Arkham Asylum. We're not going to waste any more time. That's one good thing about this opening story. It's short. So, we just got to set everything up and get everything in motion. We're not going to skip on the characterization, but we're also, we're not going to take too many detours. So at Arkham, since everyone knows Tommy's escaped now, of course, they're all set up for the manhunt. So snipers, cameras, 24 cops, infrared trip beams, K9 unit, and Batman's off in the shadows, but of course, Tommy can see them all because Tommy's got X-ray vision. Like, generally speaking, they're not maybe the best powers, but they certainly work for Tommy. So he's able to get right up to one of the cop cars, stick a gun right in a dude's ear. So stows one of the cops in the trunk, takes his hat, and goes, okay, back door of the nut house, please. And he's able to drive right on up. So once he gets up to the door here, packs the other cop in the trunk, makes sure that Buck and Andy are doing okay. And I mean, yeah, kind of. Buck got suspended, and Andy got his jaw broken, but, they'll be all right. And that's all that matters to Tommy, because he's a good guy. So throws a stun grenade in the trunk just to shut him up. And goes racing off to waste the Joker. And now he gets to go cell to cell and just pick up his spare change. So first on the list is Pickaxe McCoy, and then just boom, boom, boom. And doesn't feel bad about it at all. These aren't, he's not being hired to send a message, like, go whack some stand-up guy, some family man, just to make it look like you're a badass. These are the worst of the worst. Took out that priest, kneecapped the Mad Hatter, tosses another stun grenade around the corner. He's got a bunch of those stun grenades, eh? But it wasn't quite quick enough because they're able to get on the radio, and Batman hears a quick alert that there's trouble inside Arkham. And then we get to the last row of cells. And this area here creeps out even Tommy, who, has dealt out his fair share of death. And he's tempted to just waste them all, because, why wouldn't you at this point, right? Like, how many people have these guys killed? We got Two-Face, we got Zaz, and like I said, he's thinking about it, except then the payday's there. Just sitting there smirking at him, and he's like, I'm not even sure what I was supposed to feel here. Fuck it. Shoots him right in the head, except it turns out it's not Joker. Of course it's not, right? It's actually Mauser, and that's what Mauser looks like under his cape. Nice and creepy. And again, fun cartoon guns and everything, but, of course, this is going to be a problem for Tommy going forward. And we end issue 2 on a bit of a cliffhanger, with Tommy getting just blown away. So yeah, that's it for chapter 2 of A Rage in Gotham. Okay, so kind of a quick revisit, but I mean, half the fun of reading a Hitman book is reading the dialogue, if not more than that. So yeah, turns out the big payday was all just a ruse. And again, this is something that's going to be a problem for Tommy going forward. As I said, he's a guy who thinks short term when it comes to money. So, either get that quick change or hope for the big payday, which is in line for a hitman. But yeah, it's not going to work out that often. So, next time we're going to wrap up A Rage in Gotham. We'll see, how does Tommy get out of this? Is this the end? Are the next 57 issues just about his buddies? There's a fair bit about the buddies, at least. At least we can see if it wraps up satisfactorily. And again, with Garth Ennis writing, I think we're probably in safe hands. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when the next one's coming out. Go and subscribe on my Patreon. That's where everything I do goes, from the Blood Force stuff, the pages in the finished comics, to the YouTube videos before they get uploaded to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. There's also some exclusive content over there. And if you follow me on Instagram, I drop the odd piece of artwork on there. And you can DM me for commissions, so I can drop more artwork on there. Personally, I think my version of the Joker's better. I don't know if anybody remembers Gross Joker. Well, I think one or two of you might. Somebody commission me some Gross Joker work. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.